What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to take a look at this interesting article that says here, humans have not evolved to exercise, says Harvard professor. Choosing to lounge on a couch instead of go for a run is an evolutionary response to conserving energy. So, at first glance, this seems like it might be just another psyop from fucking Harvard who is trying to ruin the health of the American people. But spoiler alert, the author of this, or the this professor they're talking about, this guy Daniel Lieberman, wrote a book called Exercise, Why Something We Never Evolved to Do is Healthy and Rewarding. So he's like, it's not an anti-exercise book or article. It's just clickbait, basically. Right? Humans have not evolved to exercise, but it's still good anyway, is what the article should say if it was being accurate, but then nobody would click on it because that gives it all away. Okay, so let's read it. If given the choice between chilling on a couch or going for a run, most of us would gleefully pick the couch. It turns out that's an evolutionary reaction. The desire to reduce our caloric output is a natural response to needing to conserve energy, says Daniel Lieberman, a professor of human evolution and biology at Harvard University, and the author of Exercise, Why Something We Never Evolved to Do is Healthy and Rewarding. When it used to be sort of required, spending extra energy doing physical activity was a bad idea, Lieberman explained. Now that our modern world is filled with countless inventions designed to prevent us from exerting ourselves, Lieberman says we have to work at ignoring that evolutionary response. So basically, and this dude looks reasonably fit. I mean, he's not fat. Like I'd see this guy, like I'm pretty sure I've seen him at the gym fucking working out, you know, like on the bike or something. So exercise is good. Fucking spoiler alert, huh? Is this basically just an ad for this guy's book or something? When did this come out? Let's see when this guy's book came out. Do you guys know about fucking astroturfing? I guess this isn't technically astroturfing. If this is a recent book, yeah. Date of first publication, January 5th. Date of this article, February 9th. All right, so this is an ad for this guy's book. All right, I get it. And now I understand why it was posted on fucking 4chan, because, yeah, retarded. Anyway, a lot of authors will post links to articles on 4chan that are decidedly not necessarily anti-4chan, but I want to say common sense, but like so the vibe on 4chan is like ruthlessly direct, like fucking, I don't know how else to say it, like just ruthlessly direct. There's no social niceties. There's no like tiptoeing around the truth. Like you don't want to offend anybody based on their race or their religion. Like it is fucking straight to the point. So people will post articles like this, for example, written by this guy whose last name is Lieberman, obviously a Jew. 4chan hates Jews. So, you know, it's kind of obvious. Anyway, let's read it anyway. Let's pretend like it's not an ad. How could humans not have evolved to exercise? Well, that seems to be a head turner for a lot of folks. It's a basic distinction between physical activity and exercise. So physical activity is just moving, right? Oh, this is so boring. I can't even read this. Let's see here. Whoops, what did I do? There are people in the book that you refer to as exorcists. Who are the exorcists among us? Yeah, so we all know exorcists. They're that kind of annoying people who nag and brag about exercise, you know, tell you how many pounds they lifted to the gym. They just kind of make us feel bad about whatever it is that we do. What is wrong with those people, and what is wrong in terms of what they do, with how then we end up thinking about exercise? That's the reason I entitled the book Exercise. We get exercised about exercise. We get anxious and confused and sort of nervous. The biggest reason that people get nervous is that they're made to feel that they're lazy, that somehow there's something wrong with them if they don't run marathons or they don't go to the gym and lift huge numbers of weight or whatever. Well, actually, no. It's like if you don't go to the gym at all, then you should feel bad. If you go, like, let me tell you, people who are fit and in shape and who exercise regularly, we are not going to hate on somebody who's just getting started or who's been doing it for a long time and is weak or hasn't progressed. Like, maybe if you've been going at it for a long time and you haven't made progress, well, let's be honest, you probably haven't actually been going. But we don't hate on weak people. We just hate on fucking people who don't try. That's really what it comes down to. People who don't try and make an excuse as to why they don't try. The example I love to use is in a mall or airport or something like that, and yet there's an escalator next to a stairway, and there's that little voice in your head which says, take the escalator, and even though there were no escalators in the Stone Age, obviously it's still basic, fundamental, and sensible instinct to avoid unnecessary physical activity, and yet we're made to feel bad for that little voice. And it may be good to overcome it, but we shouldn't feel like there's anything wrong with us or that we're somehow abnormal for wanting to avoid unnecessary exertion. That's the most natural thing in the world. Okay, so I 100% understand that this is a fucking ad. So, like, having dipped my toes in the fitness coaching industry, I'm learning about this thing called copywriting. I won't bore you with the whole fucking explanation, but basically, it's writing sales copy. It's like writing in a way that will make people buy something from you or more likely to take an action, like filling out a form or buying something or whatever. Anyway, one of the things that they say is that you're not supposed to make people feel bad that they're doing something wrong, because then they'll click away because you'll make them feel bad. And it's like, I know that works, not the making them feel bad part. Like, I know that copywriting works. There's no doubt in my mind that it works. It's just it's like dishonest. You know what I mean? It's like, maybe you should feel bad that you don't go to the gym. Like, maybe you actually should feel bad. Maybe that'll get your ass in the fucking gym. But that's not going to help this guy sell a book. If he writes like, oh, actually in this book I wrote how like you should feel really bad if you're not going to the gym, and if you let your health slip away, it's 100% your fault. Who's going to buy his fucking book? Nobody's going to buy his book. They want to read about why it's not their fault. They want to read about the new hack that will maybe possibly get them to do it without them having to try and get them even better results while putting in low effort. One of the reasons why I'm kind of struggling to fucking promote my own shit, because it's like, I just want to tell people, I want to fucking shake them and be like, bro, get your ass to the fucking gym. Like, it's not that hard. You don't need to pay me, or you don't need to pay anybody. Like, talking myself out of it. Like, you don't need to pay anyone. Just fucking go to Planet Fitness, join the gym, go to the grocery store, buy some chicken, and you're fucking 95% of the way there. It's not that hard. I need to relax. All right, let's skip ahead a little bit. What have you learned in that research about physical activity that perhaps we could learn here? One is that we have the sense that our ancestors used to be active all the time, that our ancestors were incredible athletes who could just get up in the morning and run marathons. Typical hunter-gatherers spend about 2.25 hours every day doing moderate to vigorous physical activity. That's not a huge amount. Okay. So we've got this kind of bizarre notion about sort of physical inactivity. We think that, we rush out and buy standing desks and kind of think that there's like, that's like exercise, which isn't right. And we demonize chairs. And on the other hand, we also have these lives where we're so physically inactive. The average American in their 20s or 30s is active only about 20-something minutes a day, and by the time people are in their 50s or 60s, they're active only about 12 minutes a day. That's way, way lower than what's evolutionary normal, right? Which is, several hours a day, and we're paying a price for it. Okay, so that's true. That's a good point. Like 2.5 hours, 2.25 hours, I don't know how we got that fucking number, but typical hunter-gatherers were active for 2.25 hours every single day. Like, most Americans are not active, like moderate to vigorous physical activity, moderate. Most Americans are not like active 2.25 hours per month. Like, who is ever active doing any sort of activity? Unless you go to the gym and exercise, you're fucking never doing any sort of vigorous physical activity. In the modern world, you have a desk job, you have like a white collar job. You're not digging ditches or digging holes or moving boxes. You're not doing shit. So, I mean, he does have the right point with what he said here, which is that most people are inactive, like a lot, like super inactive. So, yeah, anyway, what about walking? If there's one physical activity that we evolved to do, it's walking. We are champion walkers. Blah, blah, blah. We have all kinds of beautiful, elegant adaptations in our body that make us really good at it. Walking is good for you, basically. Come on, get to the point, bro. And yet one of the chapters, I mean, there are a number of myths that you kind of tackle head on in the book. One of the chapters is titled The Importance of Being Lazy. Energy was limited. People struggled to get enough calories. Blah, blah, blah. All right, I guess the point of this is okay, which is that you have not evolved to like actively, no pun intended, to actively pursue activity. Like you have not evolved to like crave exercise. It's not like this like desire that we have. It's a habit that must be formed that came from a need, you know, it was related to our survival. It was actually more beneficial to us to relax, I guess, is what he's saying. But now that it's so easy for us to relax, and the component of needing to exercise or needing to do some sort of vigorous activity to sustain ourselves in life has been removed, now we have this kind of problem where we're not active at all, and we need to create some sort of like artificial means to mimic the vigorous activity 2.25 hours per day that we used to do. I would love to be active for fucking 2.25 hours per day. I wonder if I am when I'm working. I don't know if we would call that moderate, although I don't know, fucking average Americans are so fat, like probably would be moderate for most of them. Anyway, I thought that was a lot less interesting than what I originally thought it was, but here we are. I've made a video about it. So what do you think about that? Let me know, leave me a comment. Do you have any other topics that you would like me to cover that are science related? If you do, let me know, leave me a comment. Peace.